Well, hello everybody. Today's webinar will be on personnel certification. Which one is right for me? And there's been a lot of changes in the last recent year, a lot of new updated information, and this is probably one of the questions that I field most often. I believe we get a few questions a week of people trying to figure out what's right for them in their current situation for the right job, and that's kind of what I'm going to go over today. My name is Ted Stewart. I'm the Program Development and Compliance Manager here at Exida. I wear a lot of different hats. One of my tasks is to manage the CFSE program. A lot of my expertise is in the safety and high availability automation systems. I do a lot of lean process improvement, and we are also constantly working on improving the CFSE program to keep it the most prestigious personnel certification program in functional safety. So we always value comments and feedback because that only helps improve us. If you do have questions throughout this presentation, please go ahead and use that toolbar that's on your screen, and I will answer all questions at the end of this presentation. Thank you so much, and let's get started. Because of the new people, I always like to do this before I get started, just kind of a quick overview of the company, and then we'll dive right into the main information. But you'll see there that Exida, we are a worldwide company. We are opening offices, I'd say 1 or 2 a year, it feels like. You'll see Japan, Tokyo. We just had an office in Australia, New Zealand, and we're working on India as well. Exida, we are involved with a complete supply chain of functional safety. You'll see from that screen there, from original manufacturers all the way to the end users that use the products, Exida does offer software tools, the training, the consulting, and procedures related to functional safety, also in cybersecurity, automotive, and because we're so global, we're able to incorporate the needs of the different countries. For example, Germany is very big in automotive. The U.S. is very strong with oil and gas and product certification. We do have a suite of product and services. In front of you, you see consulting. On the left-hand side, that's mainly for our end users for 61511, a lot of 26262 work, alarm management, and also cybersecurity. We do have the tools to help our end users, and mainly when they're doing their calculations. We find that it helps eliminate any kind of room for error by just using the software, which will do it for you. We do product certification, which I'm heavily involved with. We do training. We have all the reference materials. Every year we do come out with new stuff. As safety changes, we know we have to change as well. And today's topic is going to be in that far right category there for personal or professional certification. We'll be talking about certificates and also certifications and how they differ and what they're for. All right, so just a quick definition of what personnel competence is. It's in both standards. It's in 61508. It's also in 61511. I'll read the 61508 portion, and what it says is basically all persons involved in any overall EE or PE system or software safety lifecycle, including activities for verification, management of functional safety, and functional safety assessment, shall have the appropriate competency. And that's kind of where this all started kicking off from. I know in cybersecurity, you're going to see that a lot too. That's your 62443 standard. And then that personal certification, that's where you'll see the initials CACE and CACS, and I'll go into more detail about the cybersecurity program as well, because that has been a hot topic recently. So why become a CFSE or CFSP? Well, as an engineer responsible for critical industrial processes or even cybersecurity threats, you're going to face a lot of variety of different challenges. It could be coping with the new and changing standards. As we all know, with the committees, they're constantly coming up with great ideas and helping refine these different standards and trying to eliminate some of the challenges that are in place. You know, we have increased pressures for the process uptime and a plant safety. You have the growing list of responsibilities. You know, as technology changes, new responsibility changes, and everyone's trying to refine those areas. And then you also have a decreased availability of support personnel. As people become more busier, maybe your company is becoming more automated in certain areas, so you need the people to move into different areas and different responsibilities. And it's great to have somebody that understands safety and are making the changes in a positive manner, and not implicating the safety systems that were in place for a reason. So company awareness is another reason why a lot of people are becoming more personnel certified, because you want to eliminate catastrophes, right? That's the whole purpose of I know in functional safety is you want things to fail in a safe manner. You never want anything bad to happen. So how can we spend our time doing things the right way, knowing that we could eliminate a potential hazard? Company awareness can reduce the risk for the catastrophe. Like I said, you can see the explosion at Texas City. It did unfortunately kill a few people. I think it killed about 15 different people, injured even more. And then also the fire at I believe that's the Buncefield Oil Department, which resulted in about $1.6 billion. So it's fun when, or it's not fun, but it's interesting to hear people that say, oh, I don't know if I should worry about spending X amount of dollars in safety, or worry about getting something certified, or maybe even getting this consulting to look at our system, because when a catastrophe does happen, the amount of money you could have spent on something like that is so minimal compared to the cost when something that bad does happen. And that's why I truly believe people that are spending the time and getting their employees certified and getting them up to speed with functional safety is, or cybersecurity, even learner management, it truly does wonders as far as cost saving is in the future, let alone it does help prevent people from getting seriously injured. So next thing I want to move into, and I'll start slowing down a little bit so you can digest this information in front of you. But I'm trying to make different slides so people will understand the difference between certification and a certificate, because this is one of the most misunderstood area. People do feel all certification companies out there are all the same, and they just have different labels, different brands, but they all have the same end result. In reality, there is a difference, and it should be looked upon. And those that do get a certification should get recognized correctly. You'll see here, we'll just read through some of them. You'll see it as far as a certificate on the right-hand side. You get a certificate based off of an educational process. What that means is you'll take a training course, and from that training course are going to be questions, and from those questions you'll answer that are based off the information you learned in that training. Once you successfully pass that exam, you now get a certificate, and you now, basically what that tells you is, from this, let's just call it a 2, 3, 4 day course, the information that was presented to me, I was able to digest, and then I was able to use that information to correctly portray my answers on this exam. There's different ways to have certificates, and we'll have another slide with the differences between different organizations, and then I can dive into that for the next future slides. But then also certification, the difference there is it's true mastery of the area, of the competency. You don't need training. This is basically for those people that live and breathe either functional safety, cybersecurity, alarm management, and it's those people that don't need an exam to show that they're competent. And the exam is not based off of any training. Sure, there's trainings out there that help you with certain topics that you can understand those, so that when you're asked the question, you're able to answer it. However, a certification is one in which that person should be looked at as an expert, because they don't know the material coming in, they know the standard that it's going to be asked in, and it is an area which it has this ongoing requirements, and in order to maintain and demonstrate that they are a master of this area, they have to show those skills without any prior knowledge to any kind of answers or questions. So it's truly another step above a certificate program. And I do see some questions coming in, so please keep them coming. I promise you I'll answer every single one at the end. So here are the different personnel competency programs. We've done a lot of research because we want to make sure that the information we're giving everybody is accurate, it's up to date. And if, for example, you see something here that's not correct, please let me know, and I make sure to update it and to correct anything that we can. So this is from, we ask every single organization, we go out there and we do a lot of case studies taken on ourselves for personal functional safety, personal competency. And here's what we found. You know, the majority of the main ones are right there in front of you. You get the CFSE program, you have ISA, you have TV Rhineland, you have TV SOOT, and then you also have Exodus certificate program as well. Just kind of want to go through here briefly. You'll see different people call experts different names, practitioners, different levels, when each one started. And the first thing you'll notice is the training, the prep course, which is the 1, 2, 3, the 5th row down. You'll see the CFSE one is the only one where a training is not required. Your ISA, your TV Rhineland, your TV SOOT, and your Exodus, those all require a training. And the reason for that is if you keep going all the way down, you're just going to start seeing, let's see here, right down there you're going to see, because there's difference. There's certificates and then there's certifications. And the certificates are great programs. I can't take anything away from them because we don't know what people are going to get. Like, if you want to get a training, it's because you're showing interest in safety and you want to be a better person. However, you might not need to be an expert, but yet you still need to get the information. You still need to know and have a way to show that you're competent in retaining the information you were given, and then you have all the supplies and materials now from that training to answer questions and help out in the field. However, you needed that training in order to get that certificate, if that makes sense. So there's a difference there, but it's all about who needs to become an expert in the field, or who needs to become competent to a certain extent in the field with the training that was given, right? Because with a certificate program, there's good trainings. There's some trainings that contain different information, and there's no real standard and what that training is going to give you to know what's going to be on that exam, right? So there's going to be hard certificate programs, there's going to be easier certificate programs, and it's all based on who you go to and what reputation that company has that gives that certificate. A couple things to note that you'll want to look for when choosing a certificate program, if that's the route you want to go, is first find out if that exam around the world is going to be the same. So is that training a standard training? Or does each training, depending on where you go, give you a different training course? This is one thing that we get questions on, and they say, you know, I passed the certificate, and so, but I heard if I would have taken it at this location, I would have learned and given more word problems, or I would have actually learned more about redundant systems where they didn't cover in this training. And that's true. A lot of programs out there, they don't standardize their trainings, and they allow their local partner to create their own material, create their own exams, and that organization will just put their name on it because they trust that local partner. And that's a fine way of doing it, but people just need to understand the differences. So if a certificate program gets a great reputation, sure, absolutely go to that one, and hopefully it's what you want. I know here at EXA we believe we need to standardize so that we can all judge people off the same information. So if we're going to call somebody, for example, for EXA we have something called an FSP, a functional safety practitioner. We also have an ACS, which is for your for your cybersecurity area, which is your automation cybersecurity specialist. And then we also have the alarm management practitioner for alarm management. But what we've done is we create it so that it's universal globally, so everybody will give the same exam. It's all the same training course. That way, when someone passes, everyone is apples to apples. That's just the way we do it. Of course, other agencies do it differently. Just find the one that's right for you is the main thing. And then, of course, you have the CFSE program, which is in a whole different level. So where do you fit in? All right, because we get this question a lot, and you're going to see in front of you there's so many different programs out there, and I only listed a small subset of how many there's actually there. So the certificate programs, this list is a very long list, and you'll see there even X is increasing their list with the different certificate programs out there. Why? It's because there's a need. And people need to to earn these certificates in different areas because their jobs depend on it. And more management are asking their employees to become competent, or at least to get training in certain areas. So you'll see here you have the FSP, which is a functional safety practitioner. That's in your standard your process realm. It's your overall view of functional safety, and that goes for the same for your TV and Ryland, the FSN. It's the same thing with the TV's FS Expert. Right, the difference there is one you need more requirements to take a training course, and the other one is you need less requirements to take a training course. Okay, then you have your TEV SUD, which you have an expert and a professional as well. All certificate programs, and I've never taken those exams, so I can't tell you exactly what's on those. However, from my own experience, what I could tell you is that they're all great certificate programs. These organizations just you don't know what you're going to get until you get to that course, because different business partners make these exams, and I have heard there's some very excellent trainings out there. However, there's some other within the same agency that aren't up to par because they use different material, and that's, like I said, that's completely fine. It's just, what do you want? What are you expecting to get out of it? And one of the most recent inquiries is cybersecurity. And so, for example, the ACS is one of those great steps where now more online training is going to happen, where you can take an exam online and completely do it from your own personal home if you want to. And that's the next route that you're going to start seeing these programs move into. Certification programs, those are for the people who are the ones that get looked up upon. Maybe they have their own role in the company is to be that safety engineer. And if that's your role, this is something you seriously need to look into. This is the one where you do need the requirements. And once you have those requirements, you take these exams. And these are the ones in which you will be looked upon as the leader. So one of the newer things in 2015/14 is we did open a branch of cybersecurity. Many people are showing this interest because why? Cybersecurity is increasing. We all know we can't avoid it. More people are, I mean, it's almost a joke now. It's kind of a little off topic. It's a joke with your credit cards. You almost expect to get your credit card to have missed charges on there. It's almost a routine. Every few months you get a new credit card. Why? Because somebody tampered with it. And hopefully it doesn't get that bad in our safety world with our plants. However, it's going to happen. And this is one thing you're just going to have to try and prevent from happening. You know, Stuxnet and all these other creative ways people are getting into systems to try and sabotage. And the more people we have trained in these areas, the better and safer those plants will become. So you have 3 levels, and I'm trying to just do as many visuals as I can when I make my slides to help show people, well, where do you need to stand? Because there's no right and wrong area that you need to be, but we need to find out what's best for you. So your tier 1, and I kind of went tier 1 from the bottom up, so I probably should have changed that to tier 3. But for this sake, tier 1 is your certificate program. Okay, that's your FSPs, your FS experts, your ISA 84 experts. That's your certificate program, where this is based off of training, and this is where I believe is like your entry level. This is where you need to be if you're going to deal with anything safety related, to have that background, because the background is very important to have, and that can alter the way you make decisions at your workplace. You can understand why you're spending money in certain areas, why you're not spending money in other areas, and this is that foundation to grow upon. Then you move into a certification, right? Your certification, your next level would be a CFSP. I currently hold a CFSP because when I first started with exida, I didn't have the experience to be a CFSE. So I went ahead, I studied, I bought the standards, I bought different books. It was a hard exam, and on all those requirements, we can do that in another time. You can send me an email and I can get you all the different requirements. But for this sake, I just want to explain the differences. But yeah, so you can become a CFSP. You know, you're considered a professional. You were able to pass an exam without any prior knowledge that, like from a training, like you didn't know where the source of the question were going to come from. It's a random exam. It gets randomized every time you take it. So it's a different exam every time you take it. It could be on different topics, areas. And you just really got to know and be a well-rounded person. Then you become the CFSEs. This one, we've had complaints, hey, it's way too hard. Every time I take this, I only miss it by a few points, but it's a good thing to be too hard. This is the gold standard. This is the one that's going to show people, are you truly an expert, and can I rely on you if I put you in this position? And in the next few slides, I can show the benefits of becoming each one. Certificate advantages. First, I'm going to talk about the certificate program, and then I'll talk about the certification program, what the advantages are. But you'll see here, we kind of talked about this throughout the presentation. You have, it shows it provides a proof of competence. So you're going to take this training course, and it can show that you retain information from that training course. Because I know I've gone to trainings where I get a participation certificate, and that's all you get, but does that really show that I sat and I listened? Or was I on my phone the whole time? Or was I answering work emails because I didn't really want to be at this training, but I had to because my boss told me to? So you go to these 4-day trainings, you come back, they expect you to retain all that information, but where's the proof that you retained it, right? And that's why TV, Ryan, that's why ISA 84 experts, and that's why exida now has certificate programs, because now we can throw this judgment benchmark on saying, yes, you did retain this information. This does increase your value as an employee. We have people coming to us specifically where they want to hire somebody. They say, hey, look, we see they went through this course. How well did they do? Did they pass? Can you let us know any information? We're looking to hire them. And, we can only give out the information that's public on the website. But at least we can direct them there and say, yes, look, on this page you can see that they did pass the FSP. Right here they are one of the certificate holders. Or, hey, yeah, they passed the CFSE. If you go on the CFSE website, you'll see right here, there's their name and the current company that they work for. Yes, we do feel confident in them because they did pass this exam. And so that's very valuable. It's becoming more and more a requirement. People are putting it on their resumes now, and this does differentiate yourself from the competitors. So if you guys have done maybe have the same GPA looking for a job, or you're going through and you're looking for work, you can now add FSP, AMP, ACS on this, and sorry about that. You can now put this on your resume. This does provide analysis of where the candidate's strengths and weaknesses are. I think this is very critical. Many people bypass this. They'll go to a training course because I can speak for exida, we actually make the certificate program optional. You got to go to training. If you want to take the exam and you want to become an FSP, feel free, go ahead and do it. However, if you don't take this exam, it doesn't show you where your strengths and weaknesses lie. This is an exam where you'll understand what ones you get right, which ones you get wrong, and then you can ask questions as to why did you miss this question, how did you get this one right, and it's very powerful to know and benchmark where your weaknesses and strengths are, because if nobody tells you, you think you probably are pretty strong everywhere. And that's what's very valuable about this is in my eyes, I call it a gap analysis. It shows you where you should be. And so that's why I see the value, and I don't understand when people would they say, I don't want to take that, I'm just going to go ahead and take the CFSE or CFSP. That's the one I really want. But in reality, hey, why not find out, okay? Now, and also, like I said down here, it does allow you to add these letters after your signature if you choose to. This way you can just, once it's sent, differentiate yourself, let people know that you were able to retain this information and get that certificate. I got 3 questions here. Just kind of want to show you examples of what you may see when you would take a certificate type exam. You'll see they're kind of basic, but yet you still would need some information and a training in order to answer a question like this. So, for example, a pressure transmitter has a systematic capability rating of SIL 3. Therefore, what? Does this transmitter, can it be used in any SIL level? If you didn't go to a training course, maybe it could. Who knows? Can the transmitters, are they excluded from systematic capability evaluations? Were field instruments, are they excluded from systematic evaluations? This device may be used in a SIL 1, a SIL 2, or a SIL 3 SIF design, and this transmitter may be used in any SIF rated below SIL 3. What could the answer be? Well, it's actually D there. And that's just something, if you take a training course, if you've been in the room, that's pretty a straightforward question, but that's something that you will see in these exams. Here's another one here. In order to reduce dangerous stiction, failures in a spool-type solenoid valve, automatic stroke testing is designed at a test rate of what? Once again, once you go through and you start understanding, okay, what is stiction first? What are these stiction failures? Automatic stroke testing, okay, what does that mean? Well, when you get into it, you're going to know that in roughly about a week's time, you're going to start having some type of stiction occur on that device. And so it is recommended that once a week this valve does move, or you have some type of action against it to reduce those failures. And here's another quick one. I only did 3. 2 valves are piped in series. Both close when de-energized in a closed trip final element assembly. So what is this architecture considered? So you got 2 valves, they're in a series, and they both close when energized in a closed trip final element system. What is that? Yes, it is a 1 out of 2. And once again, you'll learn those in these training courses. So now moving on to a certification advantages. And I hope I'm answering some of these questions because I fielded a bunch of questions, and I wanted to throw all the answers to those questions within this course so that you can now figure out which path you need to go with your current occupation. And so to become a CFSE, CFSP, a CACE, or a CACS, right? So you have functional safety and you have cybersecurity. Why would I want to do this? Well, one, we talked about, it's going to increase your value as an employee. It differentiates yourself from the competition. It is becoming a requirement for certain work positions. Because safety is becoming such an important asset to companies, you're getting roles that are specifically, I was just talking to somebody, they're now a functional safety engineer, and they have to become a CFSE. And so they're asking me all kinds of questions as to how the path, which way they should go. And I don't tell people what is the correct path, but I can always give you my opinion as to the track that I would take, knowing what I know, and then what people do from there is completely up to them. And so for that, it results in credentials being listed after one signature. You'll see my name there. I can now put CFSP after my name, which is an honor for me. It indicates mastery and competency that's measured against a defensible set of standards, usually by an application or exam. And that's one of the main points, is you can now have something proving that you do know what you're talking about. You do have those skills because you were given an exam. Solely this exam was a random set of questions based off 1 or 2 different standards in an area of functional safety that you have no prior training that you had to take for this exam, right? And then of course you are looked upon as a mentor or a leader. Many people that become CFSEs, you'll see a lot of them on our LinkedIn pages, always helping answer questions. We got a few that are, you see their names over and over again, and we value them because they are truly helping our industry. Because as industry changes, you're going to have new faces and more people are going to need help to make sure we get them on the right path. This is one of the best ways we can do it. When you want to become a CFSE or CPC, we get this question a lot. They say, hey, look, I'm always in machineries, or, I'm in automotive. I don't really know the process safety too much. And then, hey, I don't really touch functional safety. I am in the cybersecurity realm. And so that's why you're going to see there's different areas on how you become a CFSE or CFSP. Or if you go cybersecurity route, we actually will call you by different letters. You are in the CFSE umbrella. However, you would be considered a CACE, Certified Automation Cybersecurity Expert. And one thing to note, and this is a question that we get quite often, is, hey, I just took the process safety exam. However, there was a machinery question there, or there was a hardware question in there, or there was a software question there. Yeah, you are going to get questions from different areas. Why? Because we don't want to call somebody an expert if they only know one area. Yes, the majority of the questions will be in the area that you want to take your exam. However, we do feel you should at least understand and be more of a well-rounded expert than just solely because if someone says, hey, I'm a CFSE, what does that mean? If you're in machinery safety, so someone could say, oh yeah, hey, I got this process safety question and I need a CFSE. Well, what if you're talking to an automotive CFSE? They might not know anything, but they're looked upon as an expert. So what we do with our exams, we've done this in the past. We've never altered this. Is we do include a few questions from other areas so that we can see how versed they are, but we don't feel it's fair to give someone half questions in an area where that truly isn't their expertise, right? So we'll just sample questions in there. And like I said, it's all random, so you don't know what you're going to get, and that's what makes our exam one of the most prestigious in the world. And that's why those that have passed it have shown that they are truly the experts. And difference with the CACE and CACS exam is this one actually is all multiple choice. Some people are excited about that. And in the future, this exam, we're working on trying to create cybersecurity to be all online. And that will be something that will help change how these programs are handled. More people will be able to have access to them. You won't have to worry about those travel budgets. And we have quarterly meetings with an advisory board to help make these changes happen. But there's a lot into it because we have to base our decisions off of IEC 17024, which is the accreditation standard for personnel certification, for personal people, right? And so every decision we make, we have our own hurdles and obstacles that we have to make sure we cross our T's, dot our I's to make that happen. Here's one of the exciting things that has not yet been released, and those of you on here will now know is we've got a lot of questions on our study guides, and we have taken the time, we spent a lot of time, and we now, for those of you that will order a study guide today, you will be receiving the new study guide. We're very excited about it. It's all new, fresh questions, all new, relevant to the new 61508 standards. I know 61511 is coming out with a new standard, and so you're going to start seeing all fresh questions, all relative information. It was getting a little outdated in the past, so now we're going to have a study guide that's going to be very useful for your everyday use, even in certain field areas where those questions that are always asked, we kind of threw an example in there to help you learn how to do it so it can help you better your job. And which is because CAC and CACS are becoming such a huge market for us, people are kind of hesitant to take this exam. Why? There's no study guide. Well, with the help of a few of our engineers here, we're almost done with the CACE and CACS study guide, so that's going to be available very soon. So please ask questions if you need a copy of it. It'll only help motivate us more to get this out in your hands so that you have a study guide as well for that round. And the study guide doesn't need to be you don't need the study guide to take the exam, or you don't even need to take the exam if you want the study guide. These study guides are to help you reinforce and help you learn how to do different sample questions or different areas to help you in the workplace for you to perform your job. Yeah, we have resources, references, books. We have the most, probably anything that we try and learn, we're going to write a book on it. Why? Because when you're an accredited company, if you make it public, you're allowed to share that information with people. We don't like keeping secrets. We want to share and help you learn our jobs so that you understand why we do what we do when we get, if we're talking about product certification, why we do what we do. For personal certification, the same thing. We want to publish as much information as we can, only to help serve you so that you can do the job better, because that's the end goal. 2015, we're pushing everything to go, or sorry, 2016, wow, we're pushing everything to go online. Right now, a lot of people, the feedback we received from our surveys we've sent out, people want to still have that face-to-face, which I get. I'm a very visual person. Online training would be okay if I got slammed. However, I still want to be in person. I just like it live. But we are moving to online training. We'll even have online active trainings where you'll actually have an instructor that's live in front of you, much like this webinar here, but then you'll be able to interact, ask questions, and go through it that well, but in the comfort of your own home or at your workplace if you have an area where you can perform these trainings. And one thing that I do want to make a note, because we get this all the time, is people feel that if they take a one-week course in like a training course, that they can go ahead and take the CFSE or CACE without too much prior knowledge. Please don't do this to yourself. Sure, you can sign up for it, but sign up for it a few months in advance. It's striking to me how many people try and take this exam and will fail the exam because they felt just 4 days makes them an expert. And I don't know Some people pass it, which is great. I mean, they're brilliant. But I would recommend, I can't tell you what to do, but 3 months of studying after you take a training, or even you don't even need to take the training, but just make sure you study before you take these exams, and it'll definitely help you out. All right, well, that was my presentation. I want to keep it quick. I hope I got most of those questions answered. Let me go ahead and answer some of these questions. Ooh, we got a lot of questions here. I wonder if I can open up this poll here. In 1 second, I'm going to pull it out of my pane here. All right. Let's see the questions that were asked. So the first question I have here is, being a CFSE or CFSP, will it open more doors in a professional world than being a TV FSE? That's a good question, and I'm not going to give you a definitive answer. What I will tell you is if that professional world that you're going to, if they understand what a certificate is and a certification, then yes, I can say yes, they will value, you will have more doors open if you are a CFSE or CFSP. Because that's certification. A certificate program is really, once you get into it, for example, your TV FSE, it's created a lot of great people out there. But really, in my eyes, what I see it as is it's a very strong requirement for you to take a training to pass an exam that's based off of training information. And that's what it is. And that's fine if that's the only level of expertise you need. And at one moment, if that's all that's available to you, then that's perfect, and that's what you need. You need to go that route. However, if you have the ability and you want the expertise to become a CFSE or CFP, that is the route, because that is the true certification company. And if you need more questions on that, please let me know, and I can help you. Because really, when I answer these questions, I'm just going to put the certification hat on and answer them the best I can, as generically as I can. For basic and detailed engineering jobs involving SIL assessment and SIL verification, what type of training will be suitable? Well, so you're going to have to ask yourself this question. If you want some basic and detailed engineering jobs involving SIL assessment, I truly believe a certificate is probably your best route. I don't see, unless you're going to become a mentor in that area, I think a certificate program is great for you. If you take the FSP or if you take one of the other ones, that's probably a great starting block. And what I would like to say is go ahead, take that training, pass that exam, go do your job for a while. And if you're finding out that you need more, or you see something, hey, you know what, this is lacking, find out the areas that you may need and then study on those ones. And then if you'd like to take the exam, you took the training class already, you have the materials in front of you. So if you ever think that you want to become a CFSE or CFSP, take that FSP course first. That way you have all the materials you need that could help you in the future when you want to become a CFSE or CFSP. But from what you said, it looks like a certificate program would be great for you. How soon after taking the FSP would the results be available? Great question. I did not touch on that. Thank you. That would be instantaneously. So what we did, which is different from the CFSE program, which you need 6 weeks because your exam actually goes all over the world because we have different graders examining. If we take the course in America, we'd like to have someone maybe from Germany or from Singapore or a different area to grade your exam. Why? Because we have to keep everything impartial. There's a lot of rules that we have to go through. However, with an FSP, a certificate program, you don't need to do that. The course instructor, once you hand in that exam, he has the answer key. He grades right then and there. He lets you know if you pass or fail, but he won't do it publicly. He will hand you back a folder with your name on it, and in there you have your participation, and you also have a certificate if you pass that FSP exam. So you'll know right then and there. And what I think that's very valuable is then you have an instructor still there in front of you, and you can ask those questions. You know, well, where are my weaknesses? Where are my strengths? Will you help me understand why I passed and why I failed? So you will know instantaneously. All right, let's go to this next question here. All right, where am I at? All right, like the PE license. I believe unless and until exida works with the state governments to push for requirements that all safety documents must be stamped by a CFSE, CFSP, a CFSE, and so forth, I don't see how these certifications will be valued to the industry and how they will lead to a must requirement on every job. Please let me know your opinion, and I do understand that a PE is a license and a CFSE is a certification. Right, so you're kind of comparing apples to oranges. One's a license, one's a certification. And I personally believe a certification is only as good as the body giving it to you. And if we don't produce experts and you start seeing CFSEs that don't know what they're talking about, there's your answer. That program is not worth anything. Okay? However, if every CFSE you see or every CFSP you see, you ask them questions, they understand, and they're very helpful and they're informative, then you know, hey, look, that might have, that program might be doing something right. They might be showing who the true experts are out there. However, you can't say the same with a certificate program. A certificate program, you're not telling people who the experts are. You're basically saying that at that moment in time when they took that course, they passed information, they knew what they were talking about, and that's as far as you can go. So you're right. You know, we can't and we won't say that you must have anything. However, if an organization or if a certification shows over and over again that the people that it's showing have these credentials that are CFSE and they are those experts, it's all up to the end user. It's all up to that we'll call it that industry if they want to set requirements. However, that is nothing that someone like exida or someone like CFSE can say or can demand, because we don't create that demand market. It's up to the end users to say what you should have and what you shouldn't have. And I hope that makes sense. And it's up to that employer, if they feel that the position they want to have a CFSE or CFSP or even an FS or an FSN or FS expert, they have the right to do that if they see the value in what they're getting out of that. And that's what we need to prove, is by developing these people. If we can show that they truly are the cream of the crop, then that will make it happen without us having to do anything. Should we order the book study guide through exida's website? You can. You may absolutely order it through the website. It will be there. Any order from here on out, even if it's an old link, we will only send you the new study guide from here on out. So do not worry about that. Anywhere you can find it. I know it was on Amazon a little bit ago. I don't know if it's still on there, but probably the website's the best place to get that book. So yes. The pass-fail requirement, 80%. So is the exam at least 80% of the core type? Oh, great question. I didn't even cover that. Yeah, the requirement is 80%. So the exam at least 80% of the core type. That exam, basically every question throughout the CFSP, it kind of goes through almost the training course. So it's going to touch on all the material. So this exam is 20 questions long for the FSP. So those 20 questions will touch, as much as you can in 20 questions, will touch all the material given in that training course. Basically, those questions are going to be asked on the meat of that training course. So the most important things that you need to bring from this training, those are the questions that will be asked in that FSP exam. I hope that answers. If it doesn't, please email me and I will definitely get back to you. What do I think about TEV certification? What is the difference between being assist certified by TEV and, oh, your question got cut off. It looks like it stopped at that point. But for me, you say, what do you think about the certification program? I think there's great certification programs out there outside, obviously, of exida. There's many that do a fantastic job. I'm not allowed to tell you which ones are good or bad, but what I can tell you, if you do your homework, there are some great TV courses out there, and there's also some courses that are not as great, and it's only because they don't standardize what they do. It depends on what business partner, local partner you go to, because there's some phenomenal trainers out there, and there's some courses that I'm going to go to because I simply want to learn from them because they're so great. But I can't tell you that. I can only tell you that, yes, do your homework. If you totally need to go to the organization you trust and you feel will give you the best information, and then that's the route you should go to get your certificate. What is the tentative date of release of the exida books to prepare for CAC, CACS? I'm aware of the online course, but I'm looking for a study guide. Absolutely, and this is something that we keep getting pressure for. My release date, because I have to help run this and manage this, I will give you a date of February. So by next month, I want this book to be in the press or in the publication area and to have the books printed. So I'd say by end of February, you will be able to have the official CAC, CACS study guide. So bear with me. We have another 6 weeks to go, and those books should be in my hands to mail out to whoever wants one. When will the online training be? For CAC and CSS, it's already available. For CFSE, CFSP type, those trainings, I have an initiative this year, and with exida, I don't know if many people are familiar, but we bought a new building and we're expanding, and inside this building we have our own sound booth, and this is where all the online training is going to happen. We didn't want to do a half job. We wanted to make sure that the online trainings we offer are very professional. So the sound booth is now created, and these online trainings will be organized and created, and you will start seeing things this year on either a module training or even the full 4-day course will become available online. And please check in on me periodically, because this is something that I'm actively working towards, because I do know as time changes, budgets changes, and especially travel budgets sometimes become harder to get, and I think online training is the way to go. Let's see here if I move back to the top. Are the texts listed on the website as a package for study guide for the exam, providing all the information required for the exam in addition to the standards? On the CFSE website, it will show what we recommend when you want to take the CFSE or CFSP. If you would personally email me, and I can just help you with that search, and I can send you everything. We have a study guide package, which will contain the books we feel are important if you want to take the CFSE or CFSP. And that study guide package usually is an option you can pick when you want to take a training. You can just include the study guide packages, and with that, it includes the study guide and 2 or 3 different books that we hold value to, that we feel are important when you want to take that certification exam. Okay, I got through all the questions. If I missed one, please email me. These questions that I have in front of me, I'll make sure to answer, and I will send out everybody a copy of my answers in a PDF form. That way you have the answers to all the questions I just spoke about, and this recording will be recorded, and the presentation slides will be sent to you as well directly. So thank you so much, everyone, for your time. Keep the questions coming. You got my email in front of me. Anything you guys need to know, let me know. I really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much. Take care.